Behind this door lies a great city. It is your city, Detroit. Detroit, with its majestic skyline, its broad, swift river alive with giant ships. Detroit, the industrial might of the Midwest and the world, a city dedicated to progress. Detroit is a great city, not only because of its industry, but because of the people who live here. Enjoying the cultural and educational benefits offered by this modern democratic metropolis. The people who work here, constantly changing the face of the city, building a better way of life for us all. People who care enough to share enough. People who pledge part of their earnings to the United Foundation each year as thousands of volunteer workers go forth. Here's how this generosity helped one Detroiter. It could have been one of your neighbors or friends. It could have happened to you. One night last June, Alan Wayne stepped into his yard and into trouble. With the crashing of a tree limb, Alan Wayne's life had turned upside down. How do you tell a man that he's a paraplegic, that his legs are paralyzed, and that he will never again walk normally? The doors had been slammed shut on Alan Wayne's life. But thanks to you, new doors could be opened. Discharged from the hospital, Alan needed special care while his injury healed. A participant in your United Foundation, the Visiting Nurses Association, gave Alan this care. And one day, the Waynes learned that the family doctor had arranged to have Alan admitted to the Rehabilitation Institute of Metropolitan Detroit, one of the largest and finest institutions of its kind in the world, which you helped support by contributing to the Torch Drive. Here, those who suffer from spinal injury, loss of limb, loss of speech or hearing, arthritis, and stroke are started on the long readjustment to a new life. For 2 or 3 months, this was Alan Wayne's new home. He was born into a new life. And he made new friends here, and soon discovered that some were better off than he, some not so fortunate. This is Dr. Joseph N. Schaefer, director of the Institute. He and his expert staff had the major responsibility of reshaping Alan Wayne's new life, guiding him along the road to rehabilitation, a road that was bumpy at times. But why not let Dr. Schaefer tell you Alan Wayne's story?
Alan came to us not only physically impaired, but also tragically depressed with a growing reaction toward the feet. So his treatment had to begin at once, and we prescribed the oldest remedy known to man: friendship. Sharing problems with others has a special way of breaking down that terrible wall of bitterness. We are not interested in treating any specific injury here. We must be concerned with building the whole man, body, mind, and spirit. A handshake, a cigarette, or a checker game can do much to temper the mental outlook of each patient. Alan had taken a big jump. Now the long, arduous physical treatment could begin. Muscles that hadn't been used in weeks had to be retrained and stimulated. Circulation had to be restored. Little by little, Alan was returned to a position he had not known since before his accident. And from this position, he saw his new world clearly for the first time. No, he didn't see cripples, amputees, and paraplegics. What he did see was man using every ounce of strength and courage he could muster to preserve his dignity. Now his own doubts and fears were beginning to disappear. For the first time, he realized there was hope for him. But first, his upper extremities had to be built up by 100 difficult, painful, tiring exercises, so that his arms could now do the work of arms and legs. We enjoy helping people here, but the real joy and satisfaction comes when the patient has learned to help himself, learned that when hands and arms grow strong, the will to be independent grows even stronger. No, we don't train our patients to become rug weavers. Alan is simply learning that in his new world, even equipment has a new purpose. A weaver's loom not only twists and turns threads into a rich, intricate pattern of cloth, but also awakens and strengthens an even more delicate pattern of tendons, nerves, and muscles into a priceless commodity, strength. Hands tied to a saw, cutting a block of wood, accomplishments no carpenter could ever conceive. And Alan strapped to his work to improve his balance, not merely smoothing a block of wood, but knotting the muscles of his hands and shoulders to prepare for walking. As the pace quickens and the grind gets tougher, appetites get bigger, and there's more to talk about, more to share with the others. Even the old swimming hole's not what it used to be. This was recreation for Alan, but actually it's relaxation in a heated pool for tired muscles that had been working overtime. This recreation is difficult, a lot more difficult. Try to swim without kicking your legs sometime. Every bit of recreation at the Institute is designed to add more therapy to the daily routine. These heavy weights, or is it a checker game, provided in reality more practice in balance and coordination. And then all of a sudden one day, a wheelchair wasn't good enough, and he took his first steps. Because going forward was easier than standing still. To walk is to fall. Alan Wayne learned that here and in his new life he had one of two decisions to make. Either lie there or get up. Now that his body was well on the road to readjustment and his mental attitude was improving, it was time to see what Alan could do about earning a living. To the whole man, a wage-earning capacity is essential as a final step in realizing a dream of independence. Through pre-vocational testing, we pinpointed an area in which Alan showed promise. He was given the tools, and another door had been opened. With practice at the Institute and courses to follow at Detroit's League for the Handicapped, Alan would learn a trade, thus opening doors for vocational placement and a productive life. The last step in Alan's training program meant good news, going home. But again, he had to be prepared for another readjustment. It's easy enough to get around at the Institute, since it was designed with wheelchairs in mind. But at home, there are rugs, beds, and many other things that were once taken for granted, but now become major obstacles. Here, in a simulated apartment at the Institute, he was prepared for activities of daily living. His favorite singing spot had turned into a mile-high fence that had to be scaled an inch at a time. And even that favorite easy chair at home was sure going to look and feel mighty good to him once he got in it. No, nothing would be easy for him from now on. A social worker visited Mrs. Wayne so that Alan's transition to home life would not be a new experience, but a continuance of his new routine. When a man dresses himself with this much authority, it's a pretty good sign that he's ready to go home. Goodbyes are never easy, but here they mean a little something special. Maybe he'll be next. Alan Wayne was not cured here. He was merely helped. His real rehabilitation started when he left the Institute.
Through the help of the United Foundation, Alan Wayne again knew happiness. Happiness made possible by you, because you cared enough to treat the whole man. For what is man but life, fighting for life, independence, and dignity? Alan Wayne's story is retold many times a day. Multiply it by several thousand, and you will have an idea of the job that is yet to be done, of the doors you still must open. Your generosity each year opens doors to research and discovery that will repair damaged hearts. You enable the Red Cross to carry on its great service to all forms of suffering and disaster. You are straightening out twisted hands and easing the crippling effects of arthritis and rheumatism. Giving moral and spiritual help. Helping research stamp out the dread disease of cancer. And you're not forgetting those polio victims suffering from paralysis. And how can we forget our children, yours and mine? Your generous contributions to the United Foundation each year keep alive the hopes of children and make possible their dreams for tomorrow. Your contributions keep the doors of the 195 United Foundation agencies open so that they can offer their needed services to us all. Services that rebuild broken bodies, strengthen mental perspectives, and restore self-respect. The doors you open will never close. Give generously to your torch drive and make the Tri-County area of Greater Detroit an even greater community. Give your fair share. Remember the dignity and hope you are giving when you make your pledge. Remember the children. They need your help. And most of all, remember, to share is to care. Give once for all.